Released all the way back in 2010, almost 10 years ago now, is the second generation Apple TV still worth the roughly $30 it goes for these days? Well, today we're going to find out. So without further ado, let's get to it. Apple's second foray into the media streamer market brought about a lot of improvements. The sleek little black box houses an Apple A4 SoC, 256 megabytes of RAM, and 8 gigabytes of flash storage. The back of the device houses a figure-8 power connector, HDMI and micro USB ports, optical audio, and an Ethernet port in case you don't want to use the built-in 5 GHz Wi-Fi. This Apple TV also came bundled with an updated remote, and boy is it a stunner. The entire thing is carved from a single piece of aluminum, with a simple tactile button set up on the front that works just as good as it looks, leaving no doubt that you are using a premium product every time you pick it up. There's no voice search like newer models, but it does what it needs to. But how well does all of this work? Apple's tvOS is basically a slimmed-down version of iOS with a custom user interface, and this Apple TV will run up to tvOS 6.2.1, but you probably won't run on anything newer than 5.3. We'll get to that more in a minute though. All of Apple's first-party stuff still works fine. Things like buying and watching movies and music from iTunes or podcasts all work the same as they did in 2010. I'm sure this is important for a lot of you people out there, and you'll be pleased to know that despite a message about needing an update, Netflix works perfectly. The interface is a little older, but it works as well as it ever did. Something you should keep in mind though is that this generation of Apple TV can only output at 720p. It's not terribly noticeable on my 1080p plasma here, but I can tell a difference even from a distance between this and a 1080p signal from my laptop, and it would only be worse on a 4K television. The only thing I found that doesn't work is all the Disney Channel stuff, as you can see here. Now, you may have noticed that my settings icon looks a bit different. That's because this Apple TV runs a jailbroke version of tvOS 5.3. That's the newest version you can jailbreak. This lets you install third-party apps, and one of the big ones is Kodi. Unfortunately, the newest versions of Kodi you can run is 14.2, which means a lot of the newer add-ons, like Plex for instance, aren't available. That said, it's still awesome to have the expanded network play and file support that Kodi brings, although again, it's only at 720p. There's no native YouTube client, but you can make up for this and other lacking services by using Apple's AirPlay to stream them from your phone, like I'm doing here. And that brings us to the conclusion. This Apple TV is basically a Chromecast for iPhone users that has Netflix, Hulu, and iTunes, and with a bit of tweaking Kodi, but can only output at 720p. If that sounds appealing to you, well, they're about $30 on sites like eBay nowadays. For me personally, my movie collection is mostly in the H.265 codec these days, and that is well beyond the abilities of this Apple TV here, but that's a topic for another day. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit like, get subscribed, and ring the bell so you get notified when I post new videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.